Hi, Jeff Callahan here, founder of Become More Compelling, and welcome to another episode of Compelling Combos. So our topic today, faking it until you make it. If you look out on the internet, you might see a lot of advice saying, oh yeah, that thing that you want to do, just fake it until you make it. Is this good advice? Is it something that you should even follow? In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I think about this so that you'll be able to use it as a helpful filter as you improve your people skills. Let's dive in. So the more we do something new, the more we do a new behavior, the more our identity aligns with that new version of us that does that new thing. Our mindset follows our actions, not the other way around. Story time. Before high school, I had never run more than a minute or two at a time. I would not have called myself a runner by any stretch of the imagination. But freshman year of high school, I joined the cross country and the track teams. And I remember that first day. It was about 105 degrees out. I ran a whopping half mile. And when I got back to do some cool downs, I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna die right here on the spot. And if you'd asked me that day, I still would not have called myself a runner. But over time, I ran more. I improved. I started running in races, so I ended up competing in races all across my state and across the country. Now, over time, if you had asked me, I definitely would have called myself a runner. And for a period of about 10 years, being a runner was a big part of my life and my identity. I repeatedly ran, so I became a runner. These days, I do other stuff for fitness, so I would not call myself a runner because, again, my actions changed. The lesson here is we are what we repeatedly do. When it comes to people skills, and that's what I do at Become More Compelling, you might think of yourself as not that outgoing, or you might think of yourself as the quiet one. But what should you do if you want to change? What if you want to think about yourself in a different way? What if you want different results? So my advice is start at the results. Are you getting the results that you want? If you are, then you should keep doing those results. But if you aren't, if you are sick and tired of being called the quiet one, or sick and tired of just feeling like you have a lot that you could contribute but you never do, well, try out new behaviors. There's things that you can do to change your behavior and see if you get different results. And this isn't being fake, it's more just testing new approaches. And testing out new approaches is completely fine. So there are actually a lot of behaviors that you can try and test out and see if you get different results. A couple of good videos from my channel that I'll recommend is the Be More Social video and the Improving Conversations video. Those two have a bunch of tips between them, and you can test some new stuff out and see if you get different results. Now, if you try something new and you are getting results that you like, getting results that you're like, okay, you know what? I like this outcome way better than the old outcome. Then you can say to yourself, I wonder how I can engineer my environment or engineer myself to get this outcome more often. This is getting you into more systems mindset than goal mindset. I've talked about goals versus systems in a previous episode of Compelling Convos, and systems are great because they help you improve consistently. One of my favorite systems that I've talked about before, but I'll talk about it again here, is from Robert Cialdini's book Persuasion, and it is the if, when, then system. So what I love about this system is that you're doing all your thinking beforehand. If you're going to go to that backyard barbecue, maybe you're socially distanced, but you're still going, you can run a set of conditions beforehand and say, okay, well, if these conditions are met, then I'm going to do this behavior. A quick example would be you see someone grilling and you walk up to them and you ask them what they're cooking. You could do that, and that if, when, then system would look like, when I get to the barbecue, if I see someone at the grill, then I'll walk up and I'll start a tiny conversation with them. Could be someone at the drinks table. When I go to the backyard barbecue, if I see someone at the drinks table, then I'll start a conversation. You're doing all of your thinking beforehand, so in the moment, you don't have to think at all about, oh, should I approach this person? Should I not? What should I do? You can just focus on being in the moment, being a good listener, and using some of my conversation skills that you've probably watched in a previous video. You can just focus on that stuff rather than focusing on even if you should go over or not, because those conditions are already met. The thing I like about if, when, then systems and applying them to a situation like a backyard barbecue or a Zoom meeting, pretty low stakes. This isn't super high stakes stuff. It's something that you can test out new behaviors in different situations and just see if the results that you get are different. And if they are and you like those results, then keep doing them. And over time, your mindset is going to catch up with your actions. So you'll look up one day and you'll think, you know what? I'm actually fairly outgoing. And I didn't think I was 2 or 3 or 4 months ago. And that shift will be subtle, and you may not even notice it, but you'll look up one day and you'll think, wow, this is really awesome. Another tip that I love is recording your social wins. So this is something I require from all of my my private coaching clients and my students. If you're trying out new things, you're testing new things, seeing if you're getting results, when you do get wins, record them so that you can look back on those wins and say, you know what, I actually am doing pretty well. Here's where I started, and then, oh, a couple weeks later, oh, look at this. I told a great joke and I got a great round of laughs. So you can see that progress over time. In the future, if you're ever feeling kind of out of sorts and you need a little shot in the arm before a social situation, could even be a Zoom meeting, you can look back on those social wins and say, hey, you know what? The last 3 times I was on a Zoom meeting, I did really well, and here are some wins that I can use to prove it. So you've got hard evidence of you succeeding in social situations. That's another way for that mindset to catch up with those actions. So when it comes to faking it until you make it, yeah, make it, record the wins, and you'll realize looking back that, like, you know what? It didn't feel fake at all. It was just me trying on and testing new behaviors, and then I ended up loving the outcomes that I got. So our big lesson for today is mindsets follow actions, and we are what we repeatedly do. You can use if, when, then systems to try out new behaviors, and then when you do have good results from those behaviors, jot them down. Use a notes app on your phone, use a piece of parchment. I don't care how you record them, just make sure that you do record them so you can look back on them before other social events and say, hey, I've come a long way, or I'm really excited about the wins that I'm getting. So that's our tip for today. If you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to cover on a future episode of Compelling Convos, a few different ways you can get that to me. You can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at the Jeff Callahan, or you can send me an email at jeff@becomemorecompelling.com, or you can drop a comment below and I will cover what you want in a future episode. That's it for today. Talk soon. Hey, a couple of quick things before you leave. One, I've got a subscribe button over here. If you like this video and you don't want to miss out on a future video, hit that subscribe button. 2, if you like this video, hit the like button. That helps other awesome people like you find it. And 3, leave a comment if you have any feedback for me, or if you have a topic or suggestion that you want me to cover in a future video. Thanks.